All right. I am so excited to get a chance to share this groundbreaking, at least for me, information with you guys. I am James Moss. I am the moderator of the Jesus Shift community, where most of you guys are coming to us from. This idea of gut health and what it actually means to so much more of our body and our daily life and our relationships than just what we eat and how we digest it. Like, I had no idea. And so I'm really excited to have the opportunity to be joined by Justin and Megan. They are the ones that opened my world up to this. And as a father of 10 who was experiencing I'm a father of 12, but currently 10 at home, experiencing major mood swings, all of the sleep, massive issues that I was dealing with, and you guys are familiar with my anxiety story. So just understanding how what I was consuming in my body was having a direct effect on how I was dealing with life, with how I was so short-tempered with my kids, how just the smallest discussions with my wife would turn out into these huge things because my stomach was irritated all the time. I was dealing with IBS all the time. I was dealing with just constantly needing to be within a 20-foot radius of a bathroom. So if I had to do a meeting, I had to strategically find out where the bathrooms were going to be. Like, my life was affected, and just starting to eat healthy didn't really shift it. I didn't understand that all of a sudden, like, I took out some things, but I was still experiencing these issues, and I had no idea that damage had already been done and there needed to be some restoration there. So Justin, I've been friends with Justin on Facebook, and I just felt randomly just the need to reach out to him one day, just say, hey man, what do you know about anxiety? Like, what do you know about, because I just thought anxiety was causing all of this. I had no idea that my gut was the root of causing my anxiety. So I got a chance to reach out to him, and he just really spoke such truth into me about things that I never knew about gut health. So I'm really excited right now to introduce Justin and Megan. And Megan's story penetrated my heart. And that's why I'm so excited for this opportunity for you guys to hear this. So Justin and Megan, the floor is yours right now. I'm so excited. I've got a few questions to ask you, but first off, I just really want to hear your story again.
Yeah, well, thanks for having us on. I really appreciate it. We're excited because, just like James, these products have changed our life, and for the better in many areas, not just ours, but our children and a lot of people we know now, in the thousands of people, their lives have been changed because of this. So it's exciting for us to be on to share with you guys. But I think I'll probably just turn it over to Megan, because her story, she's the reason why we got started with Plexus to begin with. We were looking and praying for an answer, and this is what we got. So I'll let her start sharing her story.
Yeah, so like 8 years ago or so, I started having all these weird, wonky health issues, like really stemming from like the inability to get pregnant after having 4 babies in a row super fast. And so we were like, we'll just have another baby, and welcome another baby into our world. And well, that didn't happen. And so something was off. I could tell even just how my moods were. I had, speaking of anxiety, I would say physiological anxiety. It wasn't, I was happy in Jesus. I was happy in our marriage. Our kids were sweet. It was nothing that had to do with my circumstances. It was very much what was going on in my body. I was super duper toxic, but we didn't know why. And so I went really from doctor to doctor and was praying for answers, and finally found a naturopath. And I will say, I had a chiropractor that actually told me, he's like, you seem really toxic. Have you been exposed to a lot of farm chemicals or anything like that? I mean, I grew up on a farm, and I said, well, I don't think so. And so he came in one day actually, and to the house after work, and he's like, you know what, I wonder if we should have our house tested just to rule out any sort of environmental toxin that could be causing issues for you. And I was like, well, okay. And so I was working with a naturopath, and then we found out that our farmhouse had a lot of mold in it. And so that led to basically remediating the house, spending tens of thousands of dollars on all of that. Plus I was then going the natural route. I wasn't using the normal doctor route for answers. And so that meant a lot of out-of-pocket expense, because insurance doesn't cover natural methods. But it was the route wanted to take, because I didn't want to just get on a medication, or I just didn't want to, I was starting to have some thyroid issues and things like that. So I was like, well, let's do the natural route first. So I went and worked with this naturopath. She was super sweet. She helped me revamp my diet, really took a look at my blood work, and my thyroid levels were off the charts high. So I was hyperthyroid. I had a ton of gut issues, which I would say it probably didn't do me any favors that I was raised on antibiotics as a kid, because I had a cleft palate repair, and then I had ear, nose, and throat issues all throughout childhood. So that in and of itself probably didn't set me up for a real healthy microbiome. And then back-to-back pregnancies, and then this mold. So I think it was just kind of the perfect storm at age 30 that I was told by the doctors, like, it looks like you're in menopause. Like, that's so strange. And so anyways, long story short, I ended up working with a naturopath, and really she helped me focus on gut health. So a lot of, revamping what I was eating, which we didn't eat an unhealthy diet, but just bring it down to basics, like healthy protein and vegetables, basically to help me heal my gut. And then she put me on gut health supplements, and I was like, okay, yay, we're finding some answers. I was starting to see some improvements. Obviously, getting out of the moldy environment helped. And so basically, like probably around the same time I started with her, I had heard about Plexus, the sweatshirt, through a friend of mine who had a online herb store. And these Plexus supplements helped her overcome her Lyme disease symptoms and the co-infections. And so I was like, that's interesting. But I really wrote it off. I was like, okay, it looks like it's for diabetics, and it looks like it's for people that need weight loss. And I was at the time super duper skinny. I couldn't save or gain weight to save my life. And so just kind of wrote it off. Well, fast forward about 18 months, and I felt like so many friends were starting to talk about Plexus on social media. But it caught my eye because they weren't talking about weight loss. They were actually talking about candida overgrowth. They were talking about gut health. They were talking about the gut microbiome and how that garden inside of your body is super, super essential to your overall well-being and your immune system. And I was totally tracking. And so I decided to just give the products a try. I'm like, what am I out? It's another $100, but this might be the thing. And I will say I had worked up to a certain point with my naturopath, and we had gotten my thyroid issues in remission just by focusing on gut health, but I still had some issues to overcome. I still had some gut health issues, and we had our miracle baby number 5, within this time period. So as my body got healthy, we ended up having another baby. And so after that baby was born, I noticed like my blood sugar levels were constantly bottoming out, nothing I could do to help them get stable. And I thought, this is crazy. Like, there's something wrong. And when you have low blood sugars, you're like sweating all the time, you cry, you feel shaky, and that's not a fun feeling. And plus, your hormones are controlled by your insulin, right? That's your master hormone. And so that has a direct effect on all your other hormones. So I will say, when I started the products in February of 2015, in my first week, just doing the pink drink, I noticed an uptake in my energy, better mood, and I had less sugar cravings. And so I was like, oh my word, I think I'm onto something. Long story short, I ended up putting our kids on the probiotic, and our probiotic is very simple but super effective. I call it the Superman probiotic because it includes some enzymes that break down candida in the gut, and an antifungal, as well as the good healthy strains of bacteria. It took our son Benjamin, it took his eczema away in a month. And at that point I was like, all right, I'm sharing this because so many moms need to know about this, just in terms of raising healthy kids and being a mom functioning on all cylinders. Nobody wants to be a couch mom. Nobody wants to be too tired to even serve their own family, much less go out into the world and serve other people. And so it was at that point that I was just like, okay, this makes sense. And honestly, it was more comprehensive and less expensive than what I was using through my naturopath. And so I transitioned over, and my naturopath told me, she's like, unless you want your thyroid issues to come back, you just need to know baseline. You need a good multivitamin, a good probiotic, and a good omega. And so I just knew in my head, I'm a lifer. for supplements because I had seen their value. And even prior to all the mold stuff, we were supplement users before.
Yeah.
And so anyways, that's kind of the crux of my story. The overcoming all of my gut issues took about 4 to 6 months after I started the Plexus products. And so it wasn't an overnight quick fix. I did have some detox. I did have some more healing to do, but I knew, just like when you see something healing on the outside of your body, when you're talking about internal issues, you don't always see that healing, right? And so it can take some time. It takes consistency. It takes dedication. It takes watching what you eat, moving your body every day, drinking enough water, things like that. But I will say, I feel so good. We've had 2 more babies since.
So 3
Plexus.
miracle babies.
Yes, since starting the products, and I feel great. It's
7
been
total.
such a blessing.
So
Yeah.
not just, so 7 total. So that's
So
good.
he's
Wow.
always been my guinea pig. So I put him on the products pretty soon after I started. And do you want to tell them what?
Yeah, just real fast for me, the things that I saw right away, I like the products. And like Megan said, we had already taken supplements. So we had multivitamins, we had calcium and just some other things in our house. So the idea of supplements wasn't new. So I just started taking, I said, if you pack it in my lunch, I'll take it. And she did. So I just started taking it. And so for me, some of the things I saw was I lost 20 pounds of weight that I had packed on because I was leading a Sunday evening Bible study, and there were some old ladies that brought some killer dishes over the home cooked stuff. So it was good. So 20 pounds is what I had lost. The gut issues, that James was even talking about earlier, and having to be close to a bathroom. My gut was bipolar. Like one day it could be constipated, the other day it could be on fire. So I didn't know, is anybody's guess. And it was just a mess. So, and if you've dealt with gut issues, which I think there's a direct correlation between gut issues and anxiety. I think a lot of anxieties are physiological. It's our body is just out of balance. And that was the case for me, for sure. So I don't deal with those issues anymore. My gut I'm regular, which is a blessing. If you have not been regular for a long period of time, that's huge. Energy, for sure. I drank 2.5 pots of coffee a day before Plexus. Now I have 2 cups in the morning, and sometimes in the afternoon or evening, I have a cup. So I've greatly reduced caffeine intake because I just like coffee. I don't have to have it to survive though, like I did. Sleep. I sleep better now than I have my whole adult life. I just sleep good and I feel good. I mean, I ran an Ironman race at 45. I feel better at 45 this year than I did at 35. I just feel good. I haven't had a migraine in over 6 years. And just joints, just overall inflammation has been reduced in my body, and I just feel great. So that's really my, I'm sure there's more.
And you look great. You guys look absolutely amazing.
And we just feel good. I mean, even the reduced inflammation, even in my face, I can see a difference between now and, before Plexus. So I feel awesome.
So right now there's a buzzword going around. You can't go through Sam's or Costco or Walmart or HEB or whatever grocery store you have without seeing probiotics, right? So probiotics are the big one. We've got 48 billion enzymes in ours, all alive, ready to go in your gut. Are all probiotics created equal? And if not, what is it that separates them?
So I was really curious about this, and I knew that my Crunchy Mama network would be like, okay, well, why is Probio 5 such the Superman probiotic? And I delved into research because I'm like, okay, well, these people are all having these amazing health results from this. Why? Because I was someone that made sure that it was like, I don't know, 200 billion CFU count, and a really expensive version through a naturopath, had to be refrigerated, things like that. Well, this particular probiotic is freeze dried. Okay, so that means that it doesn't have to be refrigerated. The way that it's preserved is effective once it hits your gut. Also, if you're dependent on a refrigerated probiotic, when those probiotics hit your gut, 98.6 degrees or whatever, how many are going to survive, right? So that was something that was, I was curious about. Another thing is when you have enzymes and an antifungal added to your probiotic, that specifically works on candida. And so it's going to break down the things in the gut that you do not want part of your gut microbiome. And so that's kind of a different angle than just trying to like overpopulate with a ginormous CFU count coming in with a different probiotic. I'm not saying that those probiotics don't work or they're not effective necessarily, but I'm just saying when you have the enzymes and the antifungal to help break down, it's a powerful punch. And also the fact that Probio 5 was like a fourth of the price of the one that I was using, I was like, okay, this is so intriguing to me. Why is it so effective? And so that's what I found, is that the enzymes and the antifungal make all the difference.
Yeah.
Awesome. You mentioned earlier a phrase that actually just brought this beautiful picture in my head. The garden in the body, like your stomach, like this garden. What are we putting into our garden right now that is causing the inflammation and these the decrease in our ability to take in vitamins and things like that? What are we ingesting in our bodies right now that is causing that deterioration?
So I'd say there's multiple things, really. So the standard American diet, most people eat way too much, way too many carbs, way too much sugar. And so when that hits your gut, there's something called candida in your body that God put there to break down your body when you die. Now that can grow into an overgrowth and actually start causing a bunch of issues. It can become a systemic problem in your body. And I have actually a book called Recaging the Beast, and it's all about the yeast fungal connection in the body. And basically every health issue that we know of today can be traced back to candida overgrowth, which is so intriguing to me. And so it's interesting how the simplicity of revamping the gut microbiome can start basically eliminating symptoms in people's health. We've seen people go from doctor to doctor to doctor, big name medical clinics, and then they start Plexus and their symptoms go away.
Yep.
So sometimes the answers are simpler than we think, just
Right.
from boosting the gut microbiome. And also I will say, what we're feeding our body has a direct correlation. We're either feeding or fighting disease by what we eat. I would also say that environmental toxins is another thing. I mean, we're exposed to so many more pesticides, so many more things through our food chain. And we live in farm country here in Illinois. So there's a lot of, pesticides and things like that just in the air.
Wow.
I'll add a couple things to that.
Oh, yeah.
Just on the things that we're putting in our bodies, some real practical things that are affecting our gut and our overall health and our hormones and our mood and all of those things. Just through a couple things just a couple simple things. Stress affects all this. The stress, so there's some practical things that you can do that would help. Your body still needs to heal, but there are some practical things we can do. Reduce stress, turn the news off. That'd be the biggest thing right now, right? Turn the news off, go read a book. Sleep, if you're not getting sleep, that's going to affect your gut as well. The processed foods, pop, lots and lots of soda, that doesn't do good mixed. That doesn't help your body digest food, right? Chew your food more. The more you chew, the more saliva, the more your body produces saliva, which has digestive enzymes in it that helps break down the food in your gut. So chew your food more. It's like simple things. That's not going to help fix gut issues necessarily, but it will improve your digestive system. Water. Some people drink way too much water at a meal, or too much pop, or too much milk. Well, your body doesn't need all that when it's trying to break down food in your stomach. It needs saliva. It needs digestive enzymes that your body produces from chewing. So if you're drinking half a gallon of Coke with your meal, your digestive systems are wrecked. So these are just some practical things. There's all these different things. Antibiotics.
Oh,
We are so antibiotic prone. Like my nose is running. Antibiotic. antibiotic, and that just wrecks our garden, our gut garden.
Let me add 2 things to that.
Yeah.
Prescription meds, same thing, and birth control, same thing.
Yep.
It alters your hormones, so many different things. So be aware.
So I should not be on the birth control that I'm on?
Probably not.
Probably
Okay.
not. So there's just so many different things. The thing is that we have to learn is that everything is connected.
Mhm.
Human touch, like the lack of human touch, especially like in 2020, affects your gut. It affects your mood. It affects your hormones. Hugging scientifically increases your hormones, your feel-good hormones. Like, so there's all these things and it's all connected. And even if you get your gut right, all those other areas start to improve, your sleep, your energy, your hormones. And so it's really amazing how connected.
So as we land the plane here, I real fast, I wanted to ask, what was the name of that book that you just said?
Oh, it's called Recaging the Beast.
Recaging the Beast. Okay. I'm going to put a link to that in the group for you guys to be able to find. I'm excited to read that.
Mhm.
And okay, so they're going to have a link in, they're going to be able to click a link that's going to take them to the page that will show all the products. Can you tell them what is the best package to get to tackle all of these things that you've been talking about?
Yeah, I would say, like, based on the health goals, there's actually a little health quiz. So the system itself will
Mhm.
actually generate, based on health goals, what would be the best combo. We personally recommend something called the triplex combo that includes a pink drink that helps to regulate and balance blood sugar,
Mhm.
helps with the gut microbiome, and then the Probio 5 and the Bio Cleanse, and that helps to just reboost and give your body a reboot and the gut health and immune system line of things. But I will say, sometimes I will also recommend a little bundle on the side of that. That would be like the X Factor multivitamin and the Omega, maybe the active. So there's
Mhm.
different options, and you can explore some of those, especially like maybe if you're someone that does have a lot of gut health issues, but you also want some weight loss. There's some specific packages for those, or some healthy family packages if you have a lot of kids and you want to help them get healthy.
Yeah.
Wow. Awesome. Justin and Megan, thank you guys so much. We're so excited to have you in our community as these experts that are helping us heal our bodies from the inside out. So thank you so much for your time. And we look forward to hearing from you guys again very soon.
Sure.
Sounds
Thanks
good.
for having us on.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.